Try again. Ready?
5,
4,
3,
2,
1. Hello and welcome to Metra AV Tech Tip Solutions. I'm Brent.
I'm Adam.
And it's Friday, and Friday means
that we get to talk about something that we sell that goes along with whatever we talked about on Wednesday.
Now, what did we talk about on Wednesday, Adam?
Well, Wednesday we talked specifically on surveillance and power. And, well, what better thing to talk about for surveillance and power than a surveillance power supply?
And I like this surveillance power supply.
Yeah, this one I'm actually really happy with because this is the SPY-DB9. This is a fairly new product. It's probably within the last year, at least, for this product here, I believe.
And this is one that the development team, the development manager on this one,
yeah,
not me,
right?
Not you,
nope,
did a phenomenal job of making sure that everything that the integrator could want is built into it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you open box, and then we're going to discuss why I think this is so good, or at least I'm going to have you demonstrate why it's so good.
Right. Well, and this is one of those things that a power supply, it's really difficult to make a power supply sexy, right? There's not a lot that makes it like really cool thing to talk about, right? Because
I was going to say exciting, and I was just going to have you stick your finger in the 110
well, so
port.
I mean that makes anything exciting, right?
It does for me when you do it.
We'll go ahead and pop this open here and take a look at it right out of the box.
Ooh, it's white.
It's white. So
May
I'm
I
ready to
take
get
the
that.
box away?
Yes, please. So this is specifically a 9-way 12-volt power supply, and its functionality is pretty straightforward in that it's a 10-amp power supply system. And why is that important? Yeah, and why is that important?
Because you want to have headroom, Adam.
Yes. So outside of the box here, what we see, or outside of the unit itself, we have some ventilation here. It does come with a key, so you can lock this so that nobody can get in there and mess around with it. You have the ability to see LED feedback information, so we have both the AC input power and the DC output power,
which is
to
awesome.
See whether or not it's working or not.
That's great because you don't always know.
Right. On the side of the unit here, we have our IEC plug, so you can plug it in on the outside.
Which makes for a cleaner installation.
It's also great because you don't have exposed wires on the inside of the unit.
Yep.
Some of the old ones or some of the other
hardwired
manufacturers had a hardwired connection that you have to worry about. We also have some breakaway points on the sides, on this side as well.
And on the back.
And one here on the back as well.
Ooh, and there's mounting tabs.
Yep, mounting tabs here, and then we've also got that there. And actually, in fact, when we open it up here, you'll see we have a mounting template. That's just a sticky on the back of it, so you can stick this right to the surface of where you want to mount it.
That's awesome. So it stays.
Yep, it stays there. Yep. So it makes life really, really easy.
Which is really nice because going to 168 millimeters or 107.2 millimeters,
it
doesn't always work with the tape measure. But this, you stick it up, make sure it's level, stick it up there, and punch your holes and rock on.
And you've got it.
I like it.
So also included in here, you've got the Iec Power Cord. Again, it is Iec. It's pretty standard, so you can swap that out for something else if you need longer or shorter as well. You've got a little baggie with the mounting screws with some tabs and stuff as well, and the keys for it.
And I also see an excellent block diagram.
Yep, so you can see how everything's wired.
And part numbers, which is really nice because a lot of these products have their part numbers on the back.
Yep.
And when they're installed, you have no way of knowing what it is.
Exactly. Now this one's right here on the front of it, or in the inside of the door. Now you can see the wiring here. This is for the information here of the status of AC or DC. You see the grounding wire there, and for that. Now one thing I do want to make note of here, everybody, this little ribbon cable, it is going through this notch. Be mindful that it's not sitting outside of that notch when you go to close it. For the most part, it's going to stay just like that, but I do want to call that out for that part there. But let's go ahead and take out this little cardboard protector. Make sure that this comes out after installation. So, before you get everything wired in.
Now, you will note that it's very easy to see the mounting tabs, mounting holes. So it's really easy to set up.
Yep, you can get in there and screw it in as needed.
What we recommend that you do is leave your screws a little bit loose.
Yep.
Drop it down on there, and then after you've done that, go ahead and punch those through personally.
Tighten everything in there for that. So one thing I want to make note of here is that we have active cooling on this power supply. Most other systems are going to be passive cooling. And actually, Brent, in fact, I think we have over here, we have one of our...
We did. This is one we picked up on Amazon.
Yep. So bring that over if you would.
Because we want to know what everybody else is doing. Now, before we get to this one,
sure, you want to look at something else?
Yes, I do, because as an integrator, the greatest thing in the world, and there are a second series of power supplies that do this, is the Phoenix plug.
Yeah, so this is actually really cool because one of the problems that you have, and anybody who's an integrator that's been doing this for a while, or even not very long at all, you've run into the problem where these don't get mounted in easy to access locations.
No, they're never sitting 5.5 feet off the ground where the wires are easy to get to.
Right.
They're above a closet door or back behind
above the refrigerator. You know, they're in a way up in a above the washer and dryer, whatever it is. In a really bad spot. And so normally what you would see is instead of these removable Phoenix connectors for your camera wires, you would see screw down terminals on this board directly.
Now, we're going to show that right now because I love that. Because as an integrator, this to me is a horrible thing.
Yeah, this is frightening. This is something that, again, as an integrator, if I'm sitting on a ladder and I have to reach over something, in order for me to put the positive negative in there and screw it down easily, I would rather not.
Okay, it's important to note that's 110 volts.
Here?
Yes, that is 100. No,
that's 12.
You're killing my mojo here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can direct short that.
You can, yeah. Yeah. So this is very easy. You can go in here, if you put it in there incorrectly, you can short across the positive and negative there and short out basically your entire power supply. A couple of other things I'd
like to point out on this. This is a ventilated case, which, okay, that's a good idea, except that the ventilation's on the side of the chassis, not on the front of the chassis, right above the forced air cooling.
Yes, exactly. And so the problem is, of course, is that what this is going to do when you mount it upright is the heat's going to go that direction instead of out the side here where the ventilation is, and so you're not going to get the correct heat dissipation for that.
The other thing I would like to point out, may I do we've got this thing set up for overhead.
Yep.
Now, this is a lot deeper chassis.
Yes.
And the advantage of a chassis that's much deeper is when you're pulling the wires in either from the side or the bottom, you have a lot more working space.
That's
so you're
right.
not cramming stuff on top of each other.
Yes. You have a lot more room to work with inside of here because of that.
I'm going to go that way a little bit with that one.
There you go. So some other things in here as well, of course, we have the breaker system here, so that if these do draw too much power, these will flip a breaker instead of popping a fuse.
Right, and they will reset if the
Yes.
camera gets too hot, which we discussed on Wednesday.
Yep.
It can shut it down until it cools down enough to pull.
Yep. Now, one of our previous systems that we had, you had to actually unplug power to kill power to the system.
You pull the fuse breaker out.
Yep, or you had to pull the entire fuse out of this here. This now has an actual power switch inside of it, which is really handy for when you're doing troubleshooting or during initial setup. I will say the Amazon one does also have the switch.
Yeah, it actually has a switch on, which is nice.
Kudos to them for that, right? They actually have a switch on it.
I'm looking at the circuit board and I'm not as happy with it. Now, I'm going to have you do something.
Sure.
I'm going to have you crawl up there on the ladder.
I'm not doing it.
No, there's a reason for this, because I'm going to have you take this screwdriver, and we're going to take some wires, and you're going to strip them, standing on the ladder, and you're going to loosen this up, and you're going to put the wires in there. And by the way, you're still standing on the ladder. And while you're doing that, I'm going to do a Phoenix plug with a little stripper and a small screwdriver, and guess which one the old man can do much easier?
Well, I mean, the old man's going to be able to do this one much easier.
That's right.
But it's going to take us about the same amount of time to do both. Okay.
You're probably correct.
To at least, get them dig in there somewhere.
The bottom line is the simplicity and the ease of using this is so much better
than doing the other
these.
Styles.
I don't, these and feeding the wire into them and making...
Yep.
I don't want to sound like, one of those commercials where the jumble of wires, that nobody actually has.
Yeah.
But that is not good.
So, but the Phoenix connectors do make a big difference for it, because you can do everything, standing there with the wires there in your hand, do the Phoenix connector there. You can even, some people actually use these as an opportunity to label which ones they are.
Right.
So you can put a number on it or something else like that on the Phoenix connector if you wanted to, using your label maker. But then it's a matter of just plugging it in. Now, Brent, also troubleshooting. Let's talk about,
so much,
finding out if the camera's wrong.
Stuff. And again, as mentioned, because this is out like this, it is possible to accidentally short across something.
Yes. Yeah, so that's something to be aware of as well.
It is hard to short across that.
Right, and so if you wanted to, you could come in here and you could say, well, channel 1 is channel 1 is acting funny. Let me go ahead and see if I can swap it out with another channel and see if the same thing follows that. Yeah. Maybe we have a bad connection here or a bad camera or whatever else it is.
Which is why you label them.
Right.
But on this side, you have to take all these screws off and hope nothing shorts in the meantime.
Yep, exactly. So
okay, well, I can turn it off, and nobody remembers to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So everybody, this is the SPY-DB9. Reach out to your sales rep and or your distributor for availability and pricing on it.
I believe it's in stock.
I also believe it is in stock as well. So reach out to them for availability and pricing. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us directly. Our phone number here for tech support is 386 492-8584. Myself, Lewis, and Stuart take care of the Cyclops tech support. Brent, of course, you're just here for moral support.
Really? Is that what you're going with?
We'll go with moral support today. That's good enough for today anyways. But no, he's here for our HDMI support and any other kind of AV support stuff as well as myself and Stuart. And Lewis a little bit on AV as well. He's starting to pick up on that. So reach out to us directly if you have any questions.
We're here to help.
And we'll be happy to help with that.
More importantly, I'm Brent.
I'm Adam.
Reboot early.
Reboot often.
Don't cut your wires too short.
Turn off CEC.
Call tech support.
Make your wires at least 20 meters for HD base T. We're going to find a shorter way to say that.
Other extenders.
Yes, correct.
Because too short's a problem.
Yep.
It's Friday. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
We'll see y'all later.